My guest at this time is going to take on Jeff Jarrett this Sunday night at the World on GCW, live from the Hammerstein Ballroom on Fight TV and traditional pay-per-view. It's Effy. Effy, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Hi, thank you for having me. It is quite a whirlwind week. I can't say that word, whirlwind. Yeah, everything you just said is true, and I'm reflecting upon it. And I've been riding this line, Nick, between what a monumentous occasion, and also, can people frick off? Can certain people in wrestling frick off? I'm a little moody lately. I'm sorry to come at you with my angst, but it's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, come at me with your angst. Do you want to explain what's going on with your tongue so people know why you sound like you've got cotton mouth at the moment?
Yeah, Saturday night, I was taking part in Zicky Dice's Outlandish is Paradise, the first ever singles match between Dalton Castle and Effy. It was interesting to say the least. I also swallowed an entire helium balloon before the match began, maybe where the curse had started. That man's stronger than a lot of you other wrestlers, and he threw the fuck out of me on a German. It was my fault, though, that I bit my tongue. I think it saved me, though. I think I landed a little awkwardly by my own assistance in the move. And if I hadn't bit my tongue, I don't know what would have cracked. So thank God we've got a bit tongue. I'm a talker. I'm trying to get through it, but it's healing. I got some, not the Hulk steroids, but I got some steroids to run through it. So we should be okay by this weekend. Big weekend ahead. We'll see how it goes.
Hey, you can't say that. Brett's going to make you pee in a cup, man. He might pull you from the card. You might lose.
Yeah.
Right?
The GCW system. You don't want to get pulled from the card. Everybody's frustrated. If they're not on the card, they don't feel like they're part of it. I think what people are forgetting about this GCW show in particular is this is a big showcase highlight for a lot of new eyes and new people. So we're trying to provide, obviously, as many of the GCW regulars as possible, but also kind of a big, wide open view on the biggest stage we've had of giving you the concentrated form of game changer wrestling.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a showcase of everything. And yeah, is this kind of like when you say some people could frick off, are you like tired of like, do you think everybody wanting and feeling they need to be a part of that? Is that what you were?
Yeah, I mean, you know the deal. You're reporting the news. Everybody's getting fired every other day. It's unfortunate when you lose your job. But I mean, soon all y'all are going to be indie. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the indies. It's lovely to have you. The water's warm. Keep up. It's a time where anybody has opportunity to come out and try on this indie circuit. But a lot of these guys who are taken off the leash, who are kind of given free reign, as soon as they don't have somebody leading them to the water, it gets a little more muddied up and it's a little less interesting. Whereas I think those of us who look at it a little more artsy and we're used to the outlaw stuff, we're used to things not being exactly perfect or not having all the necessary things to get by sometimes. The art born out of that can be a little more hectic and chaotic and weird. And I think once they learn to kind of trust our judgment and trust our instinct out here, we can do good things together. But so far, it's been a lot of guys that I've referred to as clout vampires who are just sort of saying, what's over, what's hot, we're going to insert ourselves in it. Remember what we did in 91 and 02 and 07. And not many of our new fans that are coming in, in a lot of cases to see me, but for a lot of other things too, they don't remember you. They don't remember what you did. They don't remember that you were on TV. Nobody watched this shit growing up. These are people who are coming in that are a different audience than we've had before. And instead of respecting that we're bringing in people that you couldn't get, you're coming in just trying to pick them up like they were the same wrestling fans that, you could, 94, 98. It's a different world.
Yeah, and so I'm guessing you're putting Cardona in that clout vampire bucket, Jeff Jarrett in that clout vampire bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And I think there's a lot of them. And they get confused, though, because they think, well, if I just go out on the indies, it'll work. But unless you're kind of targeting or seeking or having matches with people that the audience cares about in our world, it can be a little more difficult. I mean, no offense to anyone, but Jarrett worked indie shows recently. Cardona worked indie shows recently. A lot of these guys work indie shows. It doesn't mean they're being talked about. It doesn't mean they're being discussed on a large level. The stuff that I and my roster mates at GCW, wherever we're at and whatever we are involved with, is being discussed. And there has to be some validation at least left on the table to say, whatever you are doing is working in a sense. Can we be a part of it? Versus, well, we used to be really good at this. We're going to be a part of it. It's, you got to come kiss the ring now. That's all I ask.
I'd see. That's the thing is you bet on yourself, right? You've openly talked about how you made this choice and haven't really, wanted to go to one of the bigger companies. It sounds like you're very content and happy with the bet that you made a couple years ago that you would be better off pursuing it actively here as opposed to trying to go up and try to make something happen, I guess, with WWE or now AEW. Am I getting that right?
I mean, and I tried my best to sort of clarify too. I think right now I am pro wrestler. I want wrestlers to make all the money. I want all my friends to go sign big contracts. I want everybody to get exposure. For me personally, and I tell people we're not on the same path because what I do is it is all encompassing. I am Effy 24 hours a day. I'm always on. When I wake up, I have to figure out how I'm going to pay my bills on my own. I have to figure out what products I should put my money into. What should I put my credit into that is going to be able to make a return for me because I'm the only one looking out for the money that's coming in here. And so it is a lot harder. It is a lot of constant grind. It is a lot more difficult than we need you here at 2. Here's your match at 8. Here's what you do. Fill the 9 minutes. Thank you. We love it. Go home. That is a different career path that is still you're a pro wrestler, and pro wrestling is a big part of what I do. But there are a lot of other aspects to make this work. And not everyone is comfortable jumping into that kind of complexity right away in wrestling. So it's a bet I'm comfortable with me making. I often, though, people come to me and they say, how do you do this? How do you make money? How do you survive, without a contract? And I say, by busting my ass all the time. And if you're ready to do that, I'm happy to show you the tricks. But there's plenty of people that you could tell them all day exactly how to do it. They're not going to put the effort into that. They're more focused on, just being in that wrestling part and letting that be the part of their career versus the other things that happen outside the ring and building a world and building a brand and letting that translate to the wrestling being good and bringing more people in. I don't know. I sound kind of shady right there, but I bust my ass, man. And,
I get it. And that's the thing is, so with the Clout vampire thing, like you're the blood, I guess, to the Clout vampires, right?
Well, of course, you need organic Clout blood to survive. They run through the blood quicker and quicker. It's like you just got to keep sucking the blood.
Right. You're the organic blood, right?
Yeah, organic blood. There you go.
Whole Foods blood.
Whole Foods blood.
With I think a lot of people would just say that means that you're, over, right? For lack of a better word. People that work with you get the rub. They do better. Even people that are looking to kind of reestablish themselves, like a Matt Cardona was doing.
Yeah.
But okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say this, though. I mean, when I use the term organic, I'm using it in the same sense of like, there's no asterisks with Effy. There's no, you may recognize him from these things. I did one of the online internet pay-per-views for Ring of Honor where a couple of people saw me. I did one United Wrestling Network that technically was, for whatever reason, with Marquez under the NWA umbrella with Billy Corgan on a FaceTime acting like a dweeb. So it's not like I'm actively getting in these moments where I'm able to say, oh, well, yeah, well, millions of people could have seen you when you were doing Dark, or millions of people could have seen you when you were doing NXT. I don't have that behind me. And when I say organic, I mean people who find Effy don't find Effy because of knowing about TV wrestling or seeing someone, on TV doing a top spot. They know about Effy because I've appeared in so many places and so many independent places. And GCW has given us a bigger platform to do that. But when I came into GCW and when GCW started and previous to Effy even being there, it wasn't the big hot shit it was now. It was like a typical indie. It was like what it was. They had a mentality and they had a vision for what it could be. But GCW is its own thing. We're not eating off everyone else. Everybody goes, well, you're using these ROH and AEW guys now. They came to us. I go back to the Nick Gage quote all the time. They come to us, Effy. Even when he appears on AEW, Nick Gage wasn't going around going, hey, guys, do you think I could be on AEW? Chris Jericho's begging to have Nick Gage on there, another fucking Clout vampire, pardon my French. Okay. Another Clout vampire who goes, oh, is OC over? Well, I'll fall in the juice. Oh, is Nick Gage over? Oh, well, I'll do the death match on TV. These Clout vampire guys, you're going, oh, they've had such long storied careers. At what point in the career, though, did they just start, let's just roll with the punches. Let's do the basics. Let's do our highlight reel. And then whatever's hot right now, I'll make a t-shirt. I'll do a thing. I'll stand next to that guy. I'll take a silly under, but I'll go over too. It's the Clout vampire technique. And I forever did not want this to happen, but Jeff Jarrett went after Allie. And that's kind of where it's like, okay, I wasn't there. I was going to let you say your piece. Whatever. You're a dweeb. And now I have Jeff Jarrett, lined up. So let's do it then. You want to do it? I'll give you what you want.
Yeah, it's you and your bussy tag partner there, Allie, that are in the crosshairs. And
Yeah.
Jeff. Yeah, I mean, why pull Allie into this? Like, why do you think that what does that bring to this equation that she gets pulled into?
I'm just smiling at you saying bussy. I'm just so fascinated with how, with this organic clout thing again, we can normalize this term even further. Obviously, it's a popular term in the gay community, talking about swinging that bussy. But I also hear a lot of gay men say, like, I don't like that term. It's so derogatory. It's so offensive. So there's kind of offense everywhere with it, and it's sort of a taboo in itself. And to say, like, oh, well, we love that tag team. What are they called? And you've kind of got to overcome this taboo to do it. That's what's making me smile. The violence against Allie is not what's making me smile.
Does it bug me? Does it bug me to say, I'll say it, bussy.
No, I know it, but I'm just so excited that everyone will say it now. It's like it's an incredible crossover event where Bussy is having the moment of the year. But I think with Bussy, people have pitched to us, what if Bussy broke up? What if Bussy's whatever? That's not what we are, and that's why we work so well as a tag team. We are friends who team up to deal with things, but we both have a separate path, and we are fine having solo moments and solo careers and also coming together to have tag team moments, big tag team moments as well. But when you involve her and she has nothing to do with what's going on, and I make that very clear to a lot of people, if Allie's not involved, you're coming in with the same thing, and he's trying to rehash this old, Jeff Jarrett's intergender wrestling, because you wouldn't drop the belt to a woman and threw a hissy fit and had to have everything thrown at you to even go under. You're going to come back and attack women again like, oh, well, I've been progressive forever. It's a different motivation. You're not coming to someone and saying, I believe you're an equal competitor, Allie. I want to fight you. I'm Jeff Jarrett. Here's the notice and the bell rings. You're just hitting a woman with an instrument. And I'm not there. I'm thousands of miles away having another big match. The last thing I need is, boom, my tongue's bit. I'm bleeding everywhere. Dalton Castle's, having a time of his life. And now I got to look at you get attacked as well. It gets you pissed. And you go, okay, well, one big moment. Hammerstein. Yelling at me for saying it's Hammerstein is classist. I just want to clarify that. Hammerstein Ballroom. It's supposed to be a big moment. It's supposed to be us. We got there on our own. We did this thing. So, yeah, it pisses me off that I've got to give that little bit of pushover when there's a lot of guys who are, regulars on the roster who would do great in that spot. But I get it. He wants to come in. We want to sell some fucking pay-per-views. Come look at me. Come look at it. I promise you, it'll be at least the best thing Jeff Jarrett's done since Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10, in my opinion. Or was it 11? 11?
Might have been 11.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think it was 10. I think it was 11 because 10 was WrestleMania 10. I'm thinking SummerSlam right around 10. No, WrestleMania 10. I'd have to go back and think. Sorry. I'm not going to go down that path. What's it like to get hit by the guitar, Effy? How's that feel?
It fucking sucks. You saw the full footage. I got hit by the guitar, painful enough.
Right.
But then as I kind of was figuring out what the fuck had happened, I was leaned over this guitar. He also whipped it around my neck. Where my neck, I got a pretty hard neck. My neck kind of was strung through this wood even more, very recklessly. And I think that's something that is one of the dangers of indie wrestling. Anywhere else, if you had slung a man by his neck in the guitar, they'd pull you backstage and be like, hey, pal, we know it's a fight, but you don't need to sling people's neck. This is outlaw country. So this man's already running out of the building in a trench coat. I, being in the ring, am taking the risk of, I guess this dude could sling me by my neck. But once again, someone asked me the other day, said, Effy, are you stiff in the ring with your strikes? That's fun to say with this lisp. Are you stiff in the ring with your strikes? And I said, sometimes. And so I hope going into Sunday that Jeff knows that, hey, you want to come to outlaw territory? Cool. I couldn't see you when you're behind me. She can't see you when you're behind her. But now I get to find out, you want to have an MMA glove match? Bring your MMA gloves, Jeff Jarrett. I don't give a damn. Everybody knows that I can do some things, some moves, some things. They're not coming to see a wrestling match. They're coming to see me just beat the fuck out of Jeff Jarrett for as long as I feel like doing. And they know, and Nick, I know I'm rambling here a little bit.
Sorry.
But you got to be with me. This year, I think these fuckers should start getting a PDF or a USB drive before they deal with Effy, because you get announced for a match with me. They say my fucking name wrong. Who's Aggie? Who's this? And then they second guess me. Psycho Clown pretended he didn't know what I was or who I was until after, everyone in the building's going, holy shit, Psycho Clown and Effy. The man got a little more motivated. What I see is these people have to find out that I'm the greatest there is going on the indies right now. They have to lean in, and I'm exhausted because it wears me out. I am tired of teaching you that Effy is the shit. If these guys are going to try to come get a rub, I need them to do a minimal amount of fucking research before they step to me, because that's how Cardona got pinned for the belt. That's how these guys get in situations where they're going to get beat up, their hips broken, their hearts stopped, because they underestimate and they don't do the research. But I really wouldn't mind if we were on equal footing and you knew what the fuck you were doing when you were announced with a match with Effy, because it shouldn't be a surprise anymore. It shouldn't be something you don't know. Oh, I don't know. Where's he from? I don't know. I'm from the fucking internet. I'm Effy, and y'all all want it. So play the game. You're not going to rub my ego down by pretending you don't know who I am. All that means is you're ignorant and don't pay attention. Sorry, Nick.
No, that's. I mean, so what do you think? So Jeff is obviously a big name, but you're beloved by GCW. GCW fans don't traditionally take great to outsiders, right? There's usually kind of. What kind of a reaction do you think Jeff's going to get at the Hammerstein?
It's not going to be a good reaction, but the thing is, I have an army with me there in that building. We've got 2,200 or something people in this room that are ready to give me the energy and the life force to watch and belittle Jeff Jarrett in a situation where, he bit off more than he could chew. He doesn't know that yet. And I see him talking. He's got 2 cool cowboy pictures now. Great job, Jeff. Your Instagram is going to be full of the same fucking shot of you in the moonlight forever. And then you can say something about he was admirable after I kick your ass. You can act like it was something you really planned and thought about. It's sad to see the confidence he's bringing into this, because I don't think he knows what he's getting into. Maybe they shouldn't do their research. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe, Nick, they should come in blind, and maybe I should just start shooting on all these pieces of shit who charge $50 for an 8x10 and just sit around eating pudding at all these cons while Effy works.
Sure. So, the Hammerstein is going to be a big, a lot of people saying this is the biggest GCW thing ever. I feel like it's almost like every 4 months now, it's like the biggest GCW thing ever, whether it's Gage Cardona, now this, whatever else,
Yeah.
What do you think is the next level up for GCW beyond the Hammerstein? Where do you see is room to go here for the company?
Everybody in that locker room is kind of working together, and everybody's pushing each other to try new shit. And I used to work in corporate, and they would always say, well, get comfortable being uncomfortable, because once you're comfortable being uncomfortable, you're going to be great. And there is an uncomfortable of us not exactly knowing what's next, but going to that next level. What I'm seeing in cities like Detroit is we're going to way bigger venues that we have growth room in now. What I'm seeing in cities like LA we're selling out every single time, and the amount of celebrity and Hollywood wanting to get in with us is getting bigger and bigger. And what I'm feeling from the locker room, from guys like Giancarlo Ditamo, am I saying it wrong? Is it Ditamo?
Ditamo.
I'm going to say Ditamo. I don't give a shit. Effy decides how words are pronounced. All words are made up, Nick. All of them. Every single word, someone made that shit up. Nobody has the power anymore. Giancarlo has motivation to continue bringing this brand new perspective. How bad did WWE fuck up on that one? The man knows how to give depth and character and shot and shine to things that looks like it was done by Ari Aster or done by who's the guy, Scorsese, the little dude, Martin Scorsese, that guy.
Yeah.
He's giving this Hollywood perspective, and I don't mean that in like the Hollywood agenda. I mean, like, he's able to create depth and seriousness and characters where wrestling looks cornball everywhere. Everyone has the same shiny fucking plastic gear. Everyone has the same HD lighting. Everyone has the same corny ass intro music with a fog machine. The way he is shooting this, that has depth and it has character and it has grit and it has a way of you seeing these people who we are as humans, larger than life, but also dealing with things, the same things you're dealing with. We're not scared to talk about things like depression or things like self-doubt or things like, having hardships growing up. When you bring those things into the perspective of this, we're creating this whole new narrative of wrestling that I think they're all going to start following along. But you got to be careful, because you can dress up a pig and it's still a pig. The copying of these things may miss the point and the heart of it. And I think that's often been the problem with wrestling is you see something working, you see it growing, you try to do it yourself, it doesn't work as well. And so I hope wherever we're going with GCW, wherever the direction goes, wherever the growth goes, that we continue being able to be that highlight of everything wrestling and not being scared to go, here's the bloodiest death match you've ever seen. And also here's the funniest match you've ever seen. And here's the craziest lucha match you've ever seen. And here are the stars of tomorrow who are, barely out of high school, who can do incredible stuff you've never seen. Being able to have all of those things and not just, oh, John Moxley's going to be there, or, oh, we've got Zack Ryder on the card. Those things are fun, but understand that they're built out of GCW's history of nostalgic irony. There's a fun place to have for these old superstars coming back in, but we do also have to be mindful and remind them and put them in their place by saying, you're not here just because you're cooler than us. You're here to be a part of the show, and your part is important, but it is no more important than anyone else's role here, because it's still a full 3-hour show. It's still a lot of superstars, and you couldn't do this one on your own. Trust me.
Yeah. You brought up John Moxley. He made the strong choice a couple months back to go into inpatient treatment for alcohol. He's coming back on Sunday, taking on Homicide. Very cool. But, what do you think about his decision? GCW, there's a party atmosphere to GCW. What does it kind of send any signal or get people thinking when you see somebody that's a leader like that, Moxley, making that decision for themselves to kind of move away from that, kind of lifestyle of drinking and doing that sort of thing? Yeah.
I'll say this. I always support everybody's choice to get help, to admit things to themselves, to seek treatment. That GCW locker room gets a lot of rap. All right.
Yeah.
People say we're a party. People say we go all night. And some people do. But
it's not everybody, but there are some. Yeah.
The environment there has never been one of necessity or peer pressure or anything along those lines. And I know in the past 2 years, we've dealt with a lot of crazy stuff that have happened to us, that have happened outside in the world. The sense of family, the sense of lookout, the sense of carefulness. I'm not going into any detail, but we had a situation recently where there was a fan that was threatening to do some pretty crazy stuff, and we're immediately informing each other. We're immediately on the lookout for stuff. This is a locker room that says, hey, we want you to have fun, but if your fun night is going upstairs and watching Dateline and chilling in the room, cool, that's great. If your fun night is doing something else, cool, that's great. Nobody's ever trying to put you in any position there, and I think that's what's cool. We have people coming in from all kinds of lifestyles, all kinds of worlds, all kinds of places. It's rowdy. You got to give into a little sense of rowdy. It's also a place where we want you to feel comfortable. So everybody's pretty outspoken about what they need, what's making them comfortable or not. And I think the GCW locker room, I hope, is more of the future of locker rooms, because I've been in a lot of locker rooms where people don't feel comfortable speaking up. People don't feel comfortable talking. People don't feel comfortable being themselves 100%. And it makes for a less pleasurable day. A very mean man, one of the most hated wrestlers in the world, once said to me, the match is 10 minutes, but we got to be around each other for 12 hours. So when you have an environment where people are willing to be your friend and talk to you, but also step you in the right direction when you need to, it's awesome. John Moxley making a comeback, coming into GCW, I think it's incredible. They're letting him keep the championship. We don't have the same rules as your wrestling companies to the rest of the world. If our champion needs to go handle some things and come back later, we are good. If, Nick Gage needs to go off and handle some injuries and get himself back to ready because he had a hell of a year and went through a lot of pain and beating and turmoil and the biggest matches of his life. Cool, we'll handle it. We're always ready to step up to the plate. Anything can be presented as a GCW main event. I loved that Cologne and Hoodfoot was the main event in GCW Detroit. A lot of people say, oh, well, that's because it was a death match. It has to be last. Not necessarily. There's been plenty of early death matches on GCW shows, but this match, Hoodfoot was coming in to prove something. Alex Cologne is always proving something. The biggest chip I've ever seen anyone carry on a shoulder, but it makes him so much more incredible. It was a main event. They fought like it was a main event. And, man, being in Harpo's in Detroit, Cologne, Hoodfoot doing death match at the end of this show that also featured Kevin Nash and Ricky Morton and Tuco Scorpio and Alex Zane and Gringo Loco and Ninja Mac. There are so many differences and different performers here that when a match like that can still feel like a main event, we're doing the right thing to present death match and this style of wrestling with the biggest, most serious presentation possible. And I think that's what will continue making GCW so cool is if it works and fans like it, we aren't scared of it.
So obviously, like, you and GCW are an out of control train flying down the tracks right now. But like with the amount of attention you get, I know that you're, committed to this, but has AEW or WWE, have they ever sent out feelers to you? Like, hey, we could be Clout vampires,
Here's the thing, Nick. I think I've been way too loud because I also see the comments where, like, when I brag about the independent lifestyle, when I brag about the independent spirit, a lot of people immediately are going, he's just mad because none of the companies will touch him. And I've never had serious discussions with anyone.
Right.
No one reaches out in that sense at all. I posted a message the other day that was from 2017 where I was supposed to go do extra work and they fucked up on my blood test. It was wrong, whatever. I had sent a message that said, I'll wrestle as Jeff Ronstadt in boots and trunks because I'm a chameleon. And I'm glad I didn't keep that same mentality because it was sort of oh, fuck it. What are we going to do? What is this? What's left? Now I'm so loud about everything. And I'm not always the nicest. And I've tried to explain this to people. I don't speak with emotion on a lot of things. I think that's where it's different and where people get confused. Some people are like, I think this person sucks because they're emotionally just mad at that person. I'm just speaking in generalities of, I think this is a poor PR decision. I think this is bad management. I think this was a poor placement of a match. I don't think that was a great pairing. And so when I'm this loud about every sort of version of this and where the money's coming from and where the sponsors are coming from, I think you go, I don't know. I think that's an uphill battle. I mean, the other day we're in Detroit and Ricky Morton's trying to introduce me to Scott D'Amore. I got no beef. I got no heat. But also, have you ever had a handshake with someone where you sort of look at each other and go, I know. And I go, I know. And then you just move it on. You know what I mean? Like they understand and they're good, but we're at the final stage before it gets to where exactly I need it to be. A little bit of fear.
Sure.
And then I can drop the boot and they'll go, oh my God, he did it. And they'll go, what? They'll go, he took over the whole thing. We're getting there.
Yeah, you called Billy Corgan a dweeb earlier.
Billy Corgan is a dweeb. Billy Corgan is not a good wrestler. Billy Corgan is not a good wrestling booker. Billy Corgan is a loser. What else do I have to say? That guy is literally making trope wrestling that's presented non-ironically. And I want the roster to get all the money they can. But what a fucking dork. Billy Corgan, you have not been cool since the Rat in a Cage song. And I don't even know if you were cool then.
Yeah, man. Just don't.
Sorry.
Don't talk
I have nothing to gain from Billy Corgan and I need him objectively because I know he's surrounded by people who are like, ooh, Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis. That's an interesting matchup. Great idea, boss. Someone needs to look at him. And this is the problem in every company. And this is, once again, the emotional thing. I'm just mad that someone so dweeby who has no real understanding of what is going on in wrestling and thinks so high and mighty of himself and goes around looking like Salad Fingers, the alien, touching everybody and standing weird. I'm over it. I'm sick of it. Why do you get the position to have this? Because you made a bunch of money off a band. You're now who gets to control wrestling. We got to get these dweebs out. I'm sick of dweebs telling us who's good at wrestling and because they have the money. And then everybody goes, well, he pays me, so I don't want to say he's a dweeb. I'll say he's a dweeb. I pay myself. Billy Corgan's a dweeb.
Wow. All right. Well, hey, I think that takes us to time.
Perfect.
Very excited to see you and Jeff this Sunday night. Effy, I wish I could
line them up, man. Let me just tell you this, Nick. At the end of the day, to clarify, I only punch up.
Right.
If you are not at Effy's level, we have no problems unless you want to step in the ring. If you are above me in any aspect or any way, I am punching up and I am trying to destroy and make sure.
Cool. And do you want to plug anything? You want to plug before we wrap up? Yeah. I'm
fighting Sunny Kiss for Enjoy Wrestling this Saturday night before Hammerstein Ballroom. I feel bad I am missing Phil at the cutting room introducing Prazak for his Indie Hall of Fame. Make sure you tune to the Indie Hall of Fame. And if you want to get some shirts, including the Slapnuts and the Slipknot font shirt, effylives.com/merch. Much appreciated.